everyone. Okay, so the obvious thing to talk about with this chapter is the end, where with the content, blissful smile on her face, Pino passes away. And I'll be honest, I read this chapter multiple times, and when I first read it, my first initial thought was, really, Mashima? Really? You're choosing Pino of all people to kill? In order to be like the one sacrificial lamb and for pretty much the ending. But again, through rereading it several times, the more it did start to check out, honestly. Like the thing with Pino and her very subtle journey throughout the series is she's always been the one who's her purpose was her purpose, at least in the way Ziggy had created her, was always to save the future, was always to preserve knowledge of the future and to find ways in which it could be saved. That was her goal. That was her instilled goal, her instilled purpose in life. And of course, as we know throughout the series, she also found new purpose, which is finding a way in order to fix the future, in order to subvert anything, in order to subvert another calamity from happening. And in that regard, it does make her the conclusion of it does make her death in this chapter feel all the more like impactful and sort of nuanced in a way, because her journey has now just come full circle. She's completed what she intended to do. And but even more than that, with well, the one thing I do like about her death as well is we pretty much all knew from the jump that once the whole thing of mother dying came to the picture, it was going to be near impossible in order for her dream of wanting to become human to ever truly become a reality. But at that same time, even if that dream was beyond her, the thing that was most impactful about Pino, I think, in her death is even though she couldn't she couldn't physically become human, she still died understanding human emotion. She still died as herself, as EM Pino, as someone who from traveling with Shiki, with Rebecca, all of them, she understood what human emotion was. And in that very weird sense, you could say she still ended up achieving her goal, because by understanding all those our emotions, by understanding what makes us human, she herself became human in a fashion. It's like it's a very roundabout conclusion to her arc, but I still really like it, and it did make her. I'm not gonna lie, taking all this information and looking at her arc as a whole, it did make me kind of choke up a bit. Like, even as you can tell, I'm kind of I'm choking on my own words here, and that is because it's the more I'm thinking about it, the more just her death it did leave an impact of her. She pretty much died as she lived, as her own brand of human being. And now, with that said, I guess we should kind of talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak, which is that with this happening with only 2 chapters left, I'm sure there are some who have a concern of, like, is Pino gonna be revived? And honestly, no, I don't think Mashima is going to do that. As cool as it would be, to be honest, as cool as it would be, I don't think I want him to do that. Like, let this be the final death that sticks. Let it be the one death in this finale that sticks. And so in that sense, I don't think he is going to do it. I think the last 2 chapters are going to be all about just wrapping up the story, seeing a sort of like thereafter of where everyone is now, kind of thing. So yeah, in that regard, like I don't think it's gonna happen, but I can understand the concern. Um, and yeah, just to see pretty much everyone kind of, and yeah, obviously just to see the whole crew together. It again, it was a very emotional, very very fulfilling moment, and especially seeing like Ziggy like among them too. It did seeing especially Ziggy among them now too. It did add that extra touch to it, in my opinion. Um, Now I will say, if there's one thing I'm just straight up not, I'm kind of straight up not a fan of, though. It's kind of the same issue I had with last week's chapter, which is kind of pacing, and how the way Shiki kind of resolved the whole thing with Rebecca and the chronophage. It did happen a little too fast for my liking, but I get the general idea of how the climax. I like the general idea of the climax. It's just it could have used a few extra bits, in my opinion, like to really just kind of punch up like the idea of Rebecca fighting against the chronophage. Like just I think it needed just a few more bits of Rebecca like fighting against the chronophage rather than and being consumed by it. I think we needed a little bit more of that, but aside from that, I still liked it. I still liked how the overall fight concluded. It's just, again, it's one of those things where with Tooch, it's one of those things where, again, it feels like Mashima once again like preemptively kind of was a little preemptive in like where he wanted to end it, but again, I don't hate how it ended either. But yeah, with that said, guys, that's all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll, be sure notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Annie signing off. Later, everyone.